What is up, YouTube? We have our first question and answer video that just came out a couple days ago concerning Subnautica 2's early access. And I know I'm a little bit late recording this video, but what I want to do is I want to do a deep dive on this, and I want to go over everything that they're saying, what it means, and kind of give our opinion on it, what I feel like most of the community feels about what they said. So let's go ahead and just get right into this. Waterside question and answer. I love the way that they do this. They got their camera like right.
Hello, Subnotes. I'm
right
Danya,
the
the community manager for Unknown Worlds.
And I'm Scott, or you might know me as Abraxas, the creative producer.
Abraxas is a super nice guy,
The
by the way.
response to our first Subnautica 2 devlog has been overwhelming. We've been reading through tens of thousands of comments that you left for us, and as you might be able to tell by the title of the video, today we're going to answer a few of your most common questions.
And we want to thank you all for your enthusiasm and excitement for Subnautica 2.
You have such a
While
pleasant
we might not
smile.
be able to get to everything you want answered today, stay tuned for more Q&A videos in the future.
The answers today reflect current development, so make sure to follow us across our social channels and our Discord to stay up to date. We're at Subnautica on X, TikTok, Blue Sky,
I haven't even
Instagram,
signed up for
and
Blue
YouTube.
Sky yet. I need to do that,
And
but
with that,
I'm following
let's
them
get
on
started.
everything, so I make sure I stay up to date.
So,
Don't miss a
Danya,
thing.
when is Subnautica 2 Early Access coming out?
Great question. We understand that you really want to know the release date for Subnautica 2. We're not quite ready to share one just yet, but stay tuned to all of our social channels and on our official Discord to be among the first to hear when it's available later in 2025. Okay, here's another one.
So my thoughts on that are, you know, that's kind of not a good sign, the fact that they're not giving us a date just yet. Here we are already in June. And I mean, they just released this version of Subnautica 1 for mobile gaming, and I felt like, in my opinion, that was just a little bit of a way to kind of distract people from the anxiety of wanting to hurry up and play Subnautica 2. But, I mean, yeah, again, as I said, here we are in June already, and I think, in my opinion, we're probably not going to actually see early access until late 2025, probably November. But honestly, it could be late December. I mean, that's unfortunate, but that's the vibes I'm kind of getting.
Will Subnautica 2 be on PlayStation, Xbox, or Switch?
Well, currently we're working on the early access release on platforms that support game preview or early access programs. So that's PC and Xbox. We do plan to bring it to other platforms, but when the time is right.
So translation.
So, we've been getting a lot of.
I mean, so translation is, yeah, I mean, obviously it's going to be for other consoles, I mean, of course, but that's just not their priority right now because they're focusing on early access and just hurrying up and getting this game
really
out.
Big questions, and one of those for Subnautica 2 is there multiplayer or co-op in Subnautica 2? Danya?
Yes. So while Subnautica 2 is being crafted as a single-player experience, you can optionally play it in cooperative multiplayer with up to 3 friends. So that equals 4 total players, including yourself. You can still dive into Subnautica 2 as a solo player.
I'm surprised, honestly, that they're even talking about this because, I mean, that's kind of been old news already. We're told that already in some of the earlier trailers and discussions, but apparently there were some people that didn't quite get the memo. I think that there might be some people that are a little concerned that multiplayer might kind of ruin the experience, but we'll kind of get to that here in a minute.
On the subject of multiplayer, Scott, will there be local split screen?
I hope not.
So while we won't be doing
That
local
would so ruin
split
it.
screen play, we will be supporting cross-play between both
Yeah.
Xbox and PC platforms.
Now that
so
would
yes,
be
that
nice.
means that if you're playing on PC, you can play with your friends on Xbox consoles.
What about PlayStation, though? That's kind of what I'm wondering.
One of the big questions I think people have been asking Danya is, how much will it cost, and is early access free?
So like Subnautica and Below Zero, Subnautica 2 Early Access will be a paid experience. If you are an Xbox Game Pass subscriber, Early Access will be available on day one. As for how much it will cost, we will be announcing that at a later date, but please keep in mind that our Early Access price will be lower than it will be at full release.
That brings up a couple of questions here. Okay, so, like, first of all, my question is, if I buy it for early access, and then when actually the full release does come out, does that mean that if it's cheaper for early access, does that mean that I owe more money to unlock the full version, or do I just automatically get the full version, for the lower price for sticking with it? I don't know. But anyway, some of my thoughts here regarding the price. Look, we've been seeing a lot of games, a lot of titles going up in price. I know there's this big talk about inflation, tariffs. I'm not going to get into any of that, but Subnautica, I really hope that Unknown Worlds, when Subnautica 2 is released, they don't jump on the bandwagon and they start saying, okay, well, it's going to be $80, because I know that's what Nintendo's doing. The cost of the Switch and the Xbox has already gone up. It's getting ridiculous. We've already seen a lot of backlash that Nintendo's getting. And even, I was wanting to play Doom of the Dark Ages, and I'm going to be honest, guys, if you want the full version, it was $100. I can't afford that. I mean, I don't have an Xbox Pass, which a lot of people were telling me to get, but then you don't actually own your games. And, from what I've seen, Doom of the Dark Ages, their sales actually weren't what they expected it to be. So I just, I really hope that, I know that Krafton has bought out Unknown Worlds, and I hope that doesn't mean an automatic increase in prices, but I'm really hoping that they keep the price at least around $50. I'm hoping so. I really do not want to see
another one
price
for all
increase.
of our VR fans. Will VR be supported?
While we're big fans of VR, and I have loads of headsets myself, we're not currently working on VR support, but who knows what could happen in the future.
Yeah, so I mean, translation on that also is the same thing I said earlier. They're focusing on getting early access out. They're just trying to focus on the game. All these other things are going to come later on. So don't think that means no, because obviously VR is a huge thing for Subnautica. Yeah, we'll see VR.
I think one of the questions we've got from players as well is, where's the setting? Is it still set on planet 4546b like the original games? What do you think, Dom?
No. So Subnautica 2 is actually set on a brand new world with all new mysteries, creatures, and experiences. So while you won't find the same things that you found in Subnautica or Below Zero, you will have some of your favorite tools, but improved.
Okay, so I mean, yeah, it's I was a big fan of the Below Zero storyline as far as going to the precursor homeworld. That's what I was really, really hoping for when Subnautica 2 was announced. I mean, it's looking like we might have to wait until, because when they said a completely new world, I think that means not the precursor homeworld. So, and it didn't look like it in the screenshots that we've seen. It doesn't look like what we saw in the end of Below Zero. Spoilers. But, so, I mean, it's looking like we might have to wait until Below Zero Part 2.
Here's another big
see
one.
See that. Hopefully we get that one day.
Support mods?
All right, this is the big question, guys. Get ready.
Like with VR support right now, our focus and efforts are on making Subnautica 2 the best possible game and experience it can be for our players. Our studio was formed from a Half-Life mod called Natural Selection, so whilst we appreciate and respect all of the work our modding community do, official modding support during early access isn't something we're planning for. But we are excited to see what the modding community come up with during that time anyway.
Okay, so I wanted to talk about this. So, translation. They're focusing on just getting early access out. They're just focusing on the game. They're not going to be trying to cater to us modders right now. Does that mean that modding is not going to ever be there? No. There's going to be modding. And because even his last statement, he just said, I'm curious to see what you guys come up with. So basically what he's saying is, you're on your own for now. Figure it out. Learn to mod on your own. I mean, as a modder myself, I have actually thought about studying up on Unreal Engine and, learning the basics. Now, there is already a conversation going on in the Subnautica modding Discord about the modders preparing themselves for jumping into Subnautica 2, but I will actually talk about that in a future video.
So moving on from questions, let's move to features people have been requesting, such as co-op with proximity voice chat, Donya?
So, proximity chat for co-op is a request that we've been hearing a lot across all of our channels. This is something that we'll need to take our time investigating. But while we're digging into that, we're sure that you'll be able to enjoy voice chat via Discord and other platform-based options at launch.
Okay, that is... Why are people asking for proximity chat? Come on now. Proximity chat, you can't talk underwater. Proximity chat is if you're, it's to make it more realistic. You're playing a shooting game, for example. There's people talking, you can't hear them until they get close to you. Well, hello, if you're, imagine you're in Subnautica, you're in the future, you're speaking to a microphone inside your scuba mask, whatever. Hello, the technology is advanced. Why would there be proximity chat? That doesn't make logical sense, because if you are talking to someone from far away, and come on, this is like the future. We don't, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Things that people want to know as well, map size and depth compared to the previous 2 games.
Please make it bigger.
Oh, that's a good one. The playable map size will be bigger than what we originally launched in early access with on the original Subnautica, and even below Zero's early access release.
Okay.
But just how big and how deep you'll be able to go over the course of
they're starting off
access,
bigger, is what he's saying.
We're not exactly sure yet.
He's not sure exactly
the entire
how
world
big
is
it's going to
being
be.
handcrafted by a talented team of world designers and environment artists, and they're pouring everything into the world right now. We're aiming for this to be the biggest and most exciting Subnautica game ever once we hit 1.0 in a few years' time.
Okay, so guys, and I'm talking to you guys, Unknown Worlds, just please make it bigger. We want it bigger. We want to go deeper. Okay, I'm sorry, that didn't sound right, but you know what I mean. Like, it has to be, that's what everyone has been asking for, and that was one of the biggest issues, in my opinion, with Below Zero, the map getting smaller. I'm not saying that I think that's going to happen, but I just, I know that a lot of people want a much larger world to explore. I mean, that's what the people want.
And how would you navigate that world? Well, with vehicles. And we've had a lot of people reach out about the Cyclops and Seamoth and even the Sea Truck from Below Zero. What do you think, Donya? Are they going to show up in Subnautica 2?
So
why would
we know how beloved and iconic the Cyclops and Seamoth are. We've heard and read all about your love and appreciation for them, and we love and appreciate them too. But while they won't be returning for Subnautica 2, we're working on new vehicles that are designed in the same spirit, just more suited to the brand new environment they need to navigate.
I mean, nobody wants to see the Seamoth and Cyclops brought back again. I mean, come on, that'd be kind of lame. They're great vehicles, but this is Subnautica 2. We want to see something new. So, I mean, whoever is asking for that, come on.
And though a big sub won't be ready for the start of early access,
unless you want to bring it in with a mod.
Is hard at work behind the scenes crafting one. Speaking of crafting bases and base building specifically, what is that going to be like in Subnautica 2?
Oh, I bet it's going to
be
a lot
although
better.
You love base building, you may have caught a tiny glimpse of some of that during our first early access vlog, and we've been working on making base building better with more customization than ever before.
So he's customizing the shape of the glass
with shapes and in ways that you've always wanted, whilst keeping the same beautiful Subnautica aesthetic. We can't wait to see what awesome bases you're all going to create.
Nice.
And create you will. But what about character customization? What do you think, Donya? Are we going to have character
Oh,
customization?
this is just going to be for like multiplayer.
So at early access launch, you'll be able to select from a handful of pre-designed characters.
Yeah.
But we do know how important it is, especially with multiplayer, to have some freedom to express yourself as your character. And while that won't be something that we'll be introducing early on in the early access journey, it is something that we're keeping in mind.
Customizing your own character? Come on, guys. We're not making an MMO here. I mean, if there's only going to be, I think, like, what, 16 players max in a play world? So, I mean, I could see maybe if two people pick the same character, maybe change the color of their hair, something like that. But, you know, I don't care what my character looks like. I mean, I understand that in multiplayer, that kind of changes everything. Everyone needs to have their own different character. And she just said that they have a pre-selection of characters to choose from, and that's just fine with me. But, you know, usually when situations like that happen, you get kids fighting, or, well, it's someone fighting over the same character, like, oh, I want to be that character. I want to be, you know, I understand how that goes, but customizing the character, the hair, the face, the body stuff, come on, we don't need that. That's just too much.
Okay, so this next section doesn't really fall under questions or feature requests. I think it's more like general concerns or feelings that people are having about just the general Subnautica series. And so one thing we've been hearing a lot is that, you know, players want Subnautica 2 to feel more like the original Subnautica, so Subnautica 1.
Yeah, we've heard from many of you that you want the game to feel more like the first experience on the first Subnautica, and we've learned a lot of lessons from Subnautica and Below Zero, and we're pretty confident that we're improving on both to make sure Subnautica 2 is a fitting follow-up to those games. We're focusing on all of the amazing moments that the power of player discovery can deliver.
Yeah, that right there,
as
the
well
mystery.
As creating the atmosphere that provides the same sense of awe as diving in for the first time did. We're also returning to having a silent protagonist in Subnautica 2, but that doesn't mean
I don't know how the protagonist is going to be silent.
Some amazing voice acting in PDA entries and in other areas.
I mean, you had two characters in the trailer. How are you going to make the protagonist silent? But this is what I want to say as far about the feel. Okay, so I've in the past expressed my grief with Below Zero, for example. It didn't quite have the same feel. And in my video, you know, I talked about 8 reasons why Subnautica Below Zero failed in comparison to Part 1. Not that it failed, but it was mainly, my biggest grief was the map size, and I felt like everything kind of went back to that one issue. However, there's this important topic they're talking about, the feel of the game, and I can sum it up in one word: mystery. When you land on the planet, don't know where you're at, you don't know the history of the place, you don't know what's coming at you from the depths. I mean, when you land there, and I remember the way that I felt when I first saw that first alien structure, precursor Gun Island. It was just this total mystery. I don't know how to describe it. It's like I've never felt this way from any other game. It was this certain feeling that Subnautica 1 captured, and it was just this perfect blend of terror and mystery all in one. And so, you know, in Below Zero, Alan, you know, I don't mind the storyline with him being in your head, but the fact that he's telling you where to go, there's this sense of familiarity. You know, you've got all these scientist bases everywhere. The water's not as dark, it's not as deep, and it's just not as, there's just no mystery there. So I feel like Subnautica Below Zero just kind of lost that mysterious magic. That was the one key right there that they lost.
And we've heard that you're all excited about multiplayer, but worried that it could dilute the Subnautica experience.
Well, that's what I just said. Yeah, like they're concerned it might.
Yeah, I mean, Subnautica 2 is being crafted as a single player experience that you can optionally invite your friends to play alongside you. So while we're trying to create those feelings of isolation and terror that were beloved in both Subnautica and Below Zero, how that will feel in multiplayer is something that we won't really be able to predict. You know, everyone's experience in multiplayer will be different. But if that feeling of like isolation and terror is kind of the most important
it would
thing
be gone.
to you, you can always jump back into single player mode to preserve that feeling.
See, now I have an unpopular opinion here. I'm just not really into the whole multiplayer thing. When I first played Subnautica and I heard so many people begging for multiplayer, I kept thinking Subnautica isn't really a multiplayer style game. It's going to be kind of hard to incorporate that, but now we have mods for it, and now we have Subnautica 2 going to have multiplayer. But personally, I recommend for everyone to do not touch multiplayer until you at least beat the game by yourself. Experience it in first person or one player mode, and then just go ahead and move on to multiplayer after that. That's what I would recommend.
Well, that's everything we've got time for today, so let's wrap things up. We want to thank you, the community, for joining us on the journey towards Subnautica 2 Early Access.
And don't forget, you can still ask us more questions and provide feedback or any thoughts that you're having about Subnautica 2 on our official Discord and across all of our other social platforms.
And we do have a new dev vlog on the way, so keep an eye out for that in the coming weeks.
Keep an eye out for that, and I will update you guys when I see it.
Stay curious and keep diving.
Okay, so, well... All right, so guys, that was our first question and answer video. Let me know what you think. How do you feel about my assessment of a lot of this? I gave my opinion on a lot of things. How do you feel about the general direction the way the game is going? Let me know in the comments. And by the way, I'm Leviathan Kraken. I will be covering all Subnautica mods and Subnautica 2 news. So especially when Early Access comes out, I will be playing it and covering every update. So if you do like this content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for Subnautica news. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.